Hello from Global Strategy. My name is Joshua Weiger and I work with projects and donor relations. In just a minute, I'm going to share with you a conversation with one of our project managers or missionaries who serve overseas. But first, I want to tell you why. 2020 has been filled with all kinds of loss and disruption. As we find ourselves in the last 2 months of the year, we wanted to share with you a chance to finish 2020 strong. We checked in with our local project leaders and we have 14 projects that need a little help to get over the finish line. These projects all fit into 4 categories: education projects, entrepreneurial endeavors, church cultivation, and compassion ministries. We have a unique opportunity before the end of the year to maximize a $50,000 match. This means any gifts toward our year-end Finish Strong campaign will be doubled. For more information on our campaign or the match, please visit childglobal.org/finishstrong.
Jamie, thank you so much for having a conversation with me and that we can share with the possible supporters of the Yearend Campaign. I'm so excited to have this conversation because I love you and Patrick and Marco so much. And so anytime I get to be able to be on the phone with you, I jump at the opportunity. So who are you and where are you right now? Just tell us a little bit about where you're serving.
Sure. Well, I'm Jamie Nachtigall. My husband Patrick and I serve as the regional coordinators for global strategy in Europe and the Middle East. And we love you too, Josh, and your family. You served with us here in this region. And so, yeah, we cherish those times. And we have a son, Marco, who is 17 and is his last year of high school, believe it or not.
You guys have been missionaries for a while, and I'm sure there's a lot of people saying, Marco's a senior? Like, what in the world? So, yes, he's a senior. Unbelievable.
One of the really beautiful things is we have a number of supporting churches who have been with us many, many years, and several of them sent baby blankets and things when he was born in Hong Kong back in 2003.
Wow.
And they're still supporting us in ministry now, so that's pretty cool.
That's crazy. So you guys served in Hong Kong. When did you go to Hong Kong? Was it 2003 or it was actually before that, right?
No, it was 2001 is January when we moved over there, and we served there until the end of 2009. And then transitioned from there over here to Europe, where we've been serving the region, living in Germany. So the first 4 years we were living up in Berlin, and now these last 5 years or so, we are in the Black Forest in the southwest corner.
So you just passed 10 years in Europe.
Yes.
I had not thought about that, Jamie. That's amazing.
That's pretty trippy, yeah.
Amazing. Well, I love these opportunities to connect with you guys again, and you do feel like family in so many ways. So I'm excited about this. Tell us a little bit about projects in Europe and the Middle East, and maybe even a little bit about, when I think of Europe and the Middle East, or whenever our church people think of Europe and the Middle East, they may not know exactly what that means. So what countries are we talking about?
Yeah. We have, at this point, I believe we have 14 countries in this region that have a Church of God presence. So when we talk about, the number of countries we have, it's where we have either a church or a project operating within that country. So that includes all of Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East, which at this point includes Egypt and Lebanon. And then Russia is also included in our region as part of the eastern portion. So it's a pretty big swath.
Yeah, and I know that there are some countries that we have connections with that don't have churches established now. And so that representation of the number of countries doesn't reflect those connections as well, which is really exciting, and great to have those connections outside of just those 14. I don't mean just those 14, but those important 14 as well.
Well, we have, there are some folks in North Africa that we've been connected with that are connected to our Arabic-speaking church in Paris. There are also some individuals in Syria that are kind of remnants of the churches that we had there that have really struggled during the Civil War, but the church in Lebanon continues to have some contact with them. So while we don't have a formal relationship there, there are connections.
That's so good. That's so good. And what about the projects in Europe and the Middle East? You all have done a great job of really kind of focusing those projects over the years and bringing just some focus and some guidelines to those. How do they work for you all?
Yeah, well, I think it might help actually to go back in history a little bit. I grew up as a missionary kid. My parents were missionaries in Egypt. And so my whole life, basically, I've been watching the Church of God do missions around the world. And it's changed a lot through those years. And in the early years of Church of God missions, a lot of what we now call projects were actually funds sent over from the USA to various countries that were supporting the core foundation of a church in a given country. So it may have been paying the pastor's salary, it may have been paying for the building of facilities, things like that. But now in the last 10 to 15 years, especially, projects have moved away from those kinds of foundational style projects, more towards active ministry. So as the church has matured in many of these countries, the projects have matured.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, even that.
Well, and
phrase
that's how it
is really
should
good.
be, you know.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so we no longer pay salaries or build big buildings at least in this region at all anymore. But we do try to come in at really strategic points in the life of, you know, the church or with certain leaders where we can help give a boost to what they're trying to accomplish. So whether that's, you know, a project that is helping to resource leadership training, seminars, connectivity, so that folks from one country can travel to a conference in another country that they might otherwise not be able to afford. You know, active ministry is what we really are going for, more than just kind of work projects or building type things.
Yeah, and our new projects in particular are always have a time constraint on them, a certain amount of time that are with them. There's always a local buy-in to all of our projects, and specifically for this Yearend campaign, we're focusing on two of them, Lebanon Cedar Home and the Buddha Class Children's Ministry Center. Both of those just needed a little bit of help, like all of the 14 projects we're trying to help with this Finish Strong Yearend campaign to finish strong. And so help us understand from your perspective, from an RC's perspective. RC's, you all manage and encourage the rest of our missionaries in that region. What has the Yearend campaign meant for missionaries? You know, in previous years, we've actually supported missionaries with the Yearend campaign, and then some projects as well. This year, it's all projects. Tell us what does the Yearend campaign mean to our missionaries?
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, ministry needs dollars. And so, you know, any extra boost of funding that can come along is a huge encouragement. But I think the bigger benefit actually is the benefit of feeling seen and feeling known. I know for missionaries, especially the longer you're on the field, it's easy to feel very disconnected from our churches and supporters back in the USA. And sometimes we hear from supporters, sometimes we don't very often. And we feel like we're losing touch. And sometimes you even wonder, do they even remember us out here? Do they, you know, we appreciate their support, but, you know, do they know we're here? And so I think doing the Yearend campaign has been an opportunity to focus on certain missionary families at certain times. And I think just the encouragement of that being seen and the extra boost of a support and the message of we see you and we're here to make sure that your ministry is flourishing and moving forward. I think that's the biggest benefit. And I think now with projects, it's going to be similar because a lot of our projects don't themselves have a direct connection to churches or supporters in the US. They may depend a lot on, you know, our social media or on missionaries or the RCs promoting their projects. But to have that additional boost of recognition, I think, is a real encouragement.
Yeah, you're right. And that's a good point, that our projects don't receive, a lot of them, most of them actually, don't receive ongoing support. There are some who get a lot of ongoing support, but for a majority of them, they don't receive a lot of ongoing support. And so they count on these one-time gifts to really sustain them and to help meet the goals that we're trying to accomplish. Yeah, that's really, really good.
I would just say to anybody who's participating in this campaign or who is thinking about it, just thank you. Know that this is not, this isn't just a year-end charity gift. I mean, you truly are making an impact. And with this particular campaign this year, you really are helping a number of these projects kind of get over the finish line and come to completion, which then frees, you know, those churches up or those ministries to dream and vision for what the next step might be. So while you may see a certain project close, you know, in our region because it was completed this December, you may see a new project in that same country open up for some new endeavor that they're striving for. So you really are moving the ministry forward when you participate.
Jamie, thank you so much for your time. Much love to you guys. And man, we're going to be celebrating Marco big this spring.
Yes.
And does he graduate in May? Are they done in May or?
No, it's middle of June.
Middle of June. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, much love to the Nachtigall family, and stay safe during the season. And yeah, we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks.